Hello everyone, we are from Group 13 here to present our preliminary risk assessment report titled Demolition Works Using Explosives. Without further ado, let's begin our presentation. But firstly, I want to introduce you to the members for our team, which is Akid Shamil, Nur Iskandar, Afiq Aiman, Muhammad Zuhairi and Badru Amin.
Hello, I will explain about the company objective. Our company has set the objectives as our guide elements of the decision-making process that can help us to achieve our goals or target. The objectives of our company are plan and perform to achieve the required quality within budget and schedule requirements. And secondly is to provide a productive and safe working environment, schedule and organize the design and construction activities.
Hello, my name is Muhammad Amin and I will present the flowchart of Preliminary Risk Assessment Report. This flowchart is based by the Department of Occupational Safety and Health in 2008 and it is used as our project report. The flowchart are as follows, which is start, classify work activities, consultation, identify hazard, risk assessment, prepare risk control action plan if necessary, and if there is any implementation there will be a review, and finally is the end.
Risk Assessment Process. Hello, my name is Muhammad Ishamil. I will present you the classification for work activities. So for the work activities, we categorize it into three parts, which is pre-demolition, demolition phase, and post-demolition. For the pre-demolition phase, the activities include site survey, site preparation and mobilization, soft stripping. What is soft stripping? Soft stripping is a common term to ensure all non-structural elements, both inside and outside of a building, are removed to enable demolition, refurbishment or redesign modeling works of a building. And then recycling and reuse, and lastly environmental monitoring. So a team of experts monitors the initial water and air quality as well as noise and vibration levels. So for the demolition phase, we have demolition, and waste management and recycling, and lastly environmental monitoring also. During the construction, the water and air quality as well as noise and vibration levels are all monitored to ensure that they do not exceed the permissible limits. And lastly, for the post demolition phase, we have site clearance. Identification of hazards.
Hi, my name is Muhammad Zuhairi bin Saiful. I'm going to present about pre-demolition phase hazard. First one is sun exposure. It's for the health of the workers. Since we know the workers work under the sun for the long term, we don't want them to expose for the sun for a very long time without a proper way. The first one is we don't want them to have a skin cancer. The second one, we don't want them to dehydration, and of course we also don't want them to fatigue or collapse while doing the work. Since we know that they exposed to the sun for the long term, so we provide them with a hat and also make sure they drink enough water while doing the work. The second one is structural instability. It is for safety of the workers and the surrounding. Before we demolish the building or the structure, we must make sure the instability of the structure in the proper way if we want to demolish them. The third one, is electrical hazard and wiring. It for the safety, of course. Before we demolish the building, we must make sure electrical hazard and wiring have been connected off by the building before we doing the demolition part. Last but not least, fire from the use of flammable substance. Since we use an explosive, it's very dangerous, so we must make sure that our substance is keep far away from the fire. And the last one is hazardous material and chemical. Like I said earlier, we use the explosive, so we must take care of our hazardous material and chemical and make sure everybody follow a standard of procedure while handling the material.
So for the hazard during the demolition phase, we have unguarded machinery and moving, which is in safety hazards, and flying debris, which means when the explosion happens, there will be some little debris that will from the demolition activity, and blast wave and explosion, being struck by falling or collapsing structures, dust, smoke, noise, hearing loss, people and vehicles falling into excavation safety, and lastly falls from elevated surfaces.
Here is the post-demolition phase hazard, which is manual handling for health and scattered waste material for safety.
Now, I would like to explain about the general control measure for demolition work by using explosives. So, all blasting work shall be done by trained personnel under the immediate control of designated person who has a training, knowledge or experience in the field of transporting, storing, handling and use of explosive. So before blasting, the owner should take every precaution for the protection of life and property such as fly rock, dust and vibration. Warning notices shall be given to all residents and others in the immediate vicinity of the blasting operation. So all use of explosives and any handling of explosives shall be stopped immediately upon the approach of a thunderstorm. Hierarch form.
Here, I will explain about the scenario 1, which is pre-demolition phase. There are three important things that I will explain in this section, which is hazard identification, risk analysis, and risk control. Here I will only explain one work activity, which is doing construction work in exposed sunlight. The hazard while doing this work activity is sun exposure, which can cause skin cancer, and the way we will control the risk is wear helmet while doing the work, construction work. The likelihood for this work activity is 2, the severity is 4, and the risk is 8. So the risk control for this work activity is wear sunscreen or covered clothes. Okay, there are a few more work activity in this section. That's all for me. Thank you.
Hi, Wimin again, and I'm going to present about hierarch form for scenario 2, which is demolition phase. Since we know the hierarch form is very important while doing the work, in the demolition phase, we must make sure all workers follow this hierarch form. The first one is controlling machine. The hazard is unguarded machinery and moving, which can cause an effect of strike and damage of people. Risk assessment control is safe work practice. Risk analysis likelihood is 5, severity is 4, and the risk is 20, very dangerous. So, recommended control measure is adequate training should be provided to the all workers and other drivers. And we also don't want the flying debris that can cause injuries to workers, so we must provide them with safety goggle. Likelihood is 5, severity is 1. So we must make sure the control measure is indicate the inclusion zone and barrier. And this is all the hierarch form that need to be followed by the workers while doing the demolition work. Since we want to reduce the number of incident and something that we don't happen during the demolition phase.
Hello, I'm Nur Iskandar bin Nur Sham. So the third scenario is post-demolition phase. So the work activity that can cause back pain is manual handling or repetitive work. So this work activity can cause musculoskeletal discomfort, suffering or damage. So we can make use of mechanical lifting aids as a risk control. So the next work activity is clearing waste material or bulldozer. This work activity can cause fire and explosion, injuring personnel and severely. So the risk control that we can take is provide speed control plan as well as cleanup training. So the risk analysis of both of this work activity is medium. So the risk scale for medium is 5 to 12. So a medium risk require a planned approach to controlling the hazard and applies temporary measure if required. Action taken must be documented on the risk assessment from including that for completion. That's all for me. Thank you.
Here is the conclusion in this topic. In a nutshell, the hazard in the workplace can be identified by gathering data, analyzing and categorizing the contribution factors that lead to an accident or incident. Any incident is the result of a series of events that include an immediate and underlying cause, such as harm or damage. The accident, the symptoms of a loss of control, and the true problems. Unsafe act, unsafe conditions, and unplanned incidents are three most common accidents caused in the workplace. As a result, an accident investigation is required to determine the root of the problem and prevent anything from occurring at work.
Here's a gentle reminder for you: work safe, be safe. Thanks for watching.